Welcome, YouTube friends, to the squared circle in the Vargas Vault. This is your masked luchador, Vargas, welcoming you to another Tales from the Vargas Vault. Hey there, guys. This is Vargas, even though you can't really tell that it's me, because today I am Tinieblas, the man with no face, even though there's actually a luchador called the man with no face. No, that's a different guy. This is Tinieblas, the gold-plated, no-face guy, sporting my luchador mask that I bought in that Lucha Libre Live event. Mentioned before, one of my favorite masks from the legendary luchadors, because you can't see anything of his face, and that always gave him an extra air of mystery, even though people might say he kind of looks like a Power Ranger because of the black, but screw you. Nieblas was first. But I am here with you because I did a luchador mask collection. So this time around, I wanted to share with you a WWE Championship belt collection. Now, why a belt collection? Well, for the longest time, I couldn't find a belt. And getting a new belt, even a toy belt new, was kind of expensive. Because it would be 20 bucks. A Mattel WWE belt is 20 bucks. So it's kind of out of my price range. So I never was able to get a belt. And don't even get me started on the official replica belts. Those are like 300 bucks. And more if it's one that WWE no longer produces. So it's not the kind of scratch that I can afford for a belt. But when I started my wrestling craze and got back into wrestling, like really hardcore, it's like the world, the stars, everything came alive. And unfortunately for my wife, because she doesn't really like me spending that much money on the stuff that I acquire, I have been able to get a number of belts. Right now, I'm at a point where I'm happy with the belt collection. I could get maybe two more belts that are out there that I would like to get. But as of right now, my collection is done. I have all the belts that I wanted. Of course, like everything, I suppose I could get a couple of more belts, but I have what I wanted, and I have enough to share with you. So, that's what I'm going to do. So, first belt that I'm going to show off is the WWE Tag Team, well, one of the Tag Team belts, because usually they're supposed to come in twos. But this is the Tag Team belt. Now, the Tag Team belts have had a lot of different designs. Back when it was WWF, then they switched it up. Then they did a brand split, so you had Tag Team Champions on Raw, Tag Team Champions on SmackDown, and they were different. Then they unified the belts, and so you had a unified Tag Team Champion, but then they changed the belts into this design. This is a design more reminiscent of Roman gladiators, like you can see here. Now these are all Mattel and Jakks-specific toy belts. These are designed for kids, but they're big enough that they look good, you know, being worn by an adult. Maybe it's just me because I'm a short guy, so, you know, it looks like a title belt on a normal person. But I like them. I like them a lot. They're very well designed. The leather is pleather. It's not actual leather. But the plates are very well done, very solid. Paint is really good. Just never try to clean them, because I'll talk about that later. Never clean one of these belts with anything. But the design is very cool. I like it. So I like collecting for them. And now that I have all the ones that I wanted, maybe one day I can, you know, get a bonus, save some money, maybe sell some other stuff, and maybe one day get an official one. But for now, these are good. Got this cheap from a online seller. And like I said, it's copper. I like the design, but I'm not a big fan of the color. I don't like copper. Maybe it's because, you know, in the Olympics, you go for the gold. Gold is the gold standard. Then second place, good but not good enough, is silver. And then third place, the loser of the three, is copper. So maybe I relate copper to third place. It's not. I like the design. Don't get me wrong. I like the Roman look that this thing has, but copper is not the color I would have gone with. Thankfully, they changed it. They did a brand split again. So you have Raw Tag Team Champions and you have SmackDown Tag Team Champions. The Raw ones have a red strap with silver on this, while as the SmackDown one has blue with silver as well. Those look better in my opinion. I like the silver a lot more than this copper one, but this is the one I got, and I'm happy with the design, but not the color. Second one, the Intercontinental Championship. Very historic belt, because I mentioned before, back in the day, the Intercontinental Champion was the championship for the workers, the guys that were not main event but were really good technical wrestlers, like Macho Man or one of the longest running wrestlers, the Honky Tonk Man. Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin started with the Intercontinental belt. Bret Hart. It would be the stepping stone. At least it was back in the day. The stepping stone for, you would build your career. You get the Intercontinental Championship. You would get the recognition, and then if you worked hard enough, you could go for the big one, the Wing Eagle belt or the World Heavyweight Championship. So the Intercontinental belt is amazing. Also has had a lot of different designs. The original design was different. It was a black strap. I remember when the Ultimate Warrior and Shawn Michaels won it, it sometimes would come in white, but this was different. This is a much later design in the WWE, but I like this one because it looks like gold nuggets here. So this design is pretty cool, and of course, the white strap is very reminiscent of when Shawn Michaels got it. So really cool. Right now, the one that has the wrestler that has the Intercontinental Championship is The Miz, and a lot of people don't like The Miz, but his mic work is really cool. He's a really good heel on the mic. He can cut some really cool promos, and he's gotten good at wrestling. The Miz now, compared to The Miz before, totally different person. He's actually gotten really good in his wrestling skills. The next one is the big gold belt, the World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship belt, made famous not in WWE but on different promotions. Most notably, Ric Flair. Ric Flair is the wrestler that I always associate with the big gold belt. This is a Jakks Pacific belt. The plate is much smaller than the actual belt here. It's a you can tell it's meant for kids. It's way smaller, very detailed, very nice, but way too small. Thankfully, Mattel released a much better design of the big gold belt with a much bigger plate, bigger side plates. Really looks better. Looks like the big gold belt that The Undertaker, Edge, Batista, even at some time John Cena fought for, and of course again the most legendary one being Ric Flair. So I really like the design of the big gold belt. Even though my favorite design is the Winged Eagle, this design is really cool and it carries a lot of history before WWE unfortunately discontinued the big gold belt. Now the thing about these toy belts is you have to be careful when you clean them. I wanted to shine it up for the pickup video, so I cleaned it with just plain water and a cotton swab, and I took out the paint. Just took it out. The gold paint, gone. All gone. You could see the clear plastic. I'm like, what the hell? So never try to clean these things with anything. Even water will mess it up. So what I did is that I just painted it silver. So it does unfortunately look different, but it's where the nameplate would be anyway, so it's not a total loss. But still looks cool. I still like it. The big gold belt is awesome. Next one is the Jakks Pacific United States Championship. I like the plate on this. I like the American flag logo, because of course it's the United States Championship. The red, white, and blue, United States Championship. But this being the Jakks Pacific one, it's smaller. You'll notice that in all of the Jakks Pacific belts that I'm going to mention, with the exception of one. Very small, intended for a kid. This one does, as opposed to the Mattel one, have 2 side plates, but these are stickers. So if this wasn't a better thing, that would be cool. But this is for a kid. I bought this online. I thought it was bigger. It's not. It's for little kids. But I did upgrade to a Mattel one. Unfortunately, this one doesn't look as pretty because it doesn't have the red, white, and blue, which sucks. It has this gold thing. I'm not a big fan of the gold. I would prefer white. But also only has 2 side plates. So it's cool. It's bigger. Looks like the real thing. But it's not as pretty. Now there's 2 variants of this. This is the Scratch WWE logo. This is where the belt design that WWE released when they released the United States Championship. But there's also a re-release of this that has the corporate WWE logo here. So there's 2 designs. I don't think I'm going to get that one. Jakks Pacific and Mattel one is as far as I'm willing to go. Now my favorite design of all time is the Winged Eagle belt. When I was watching WWE, the Winged Eagle belt was the standard of WWE. It was the title that everyone fought for if they wanted to be the big name, the main event guy. You had Hulk Hogan be the champion for many years with the Winged Eagle belt. And then the Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man first, then the Ultimate Warrior, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, they all fought for the Winged Eagle. So I grew up watching that belt, and it's, to this day, my favorite design of belt. And this is the Jakks Pacific Winged Eagle belt, much like the World Heavyweight Championship. The logo the plate is pretty cool. Have the side plates, but it's smaller than the actual belt. And meant for kids. It's a kid size. But thankfully, I was able to add the Mattel Winged Eagle belt. Bigger, much bigger. Beautiful plate, more detailed. Side plates, doesn't have the other plate that should be here, but has your side plates here and here. And it's big. It's beautiful. Yokozuna also, it's another wrestler that had the belt. Undertaker had a run with the belt. This was the belt that everyone fought for in WWF when I was growing up. And to this day, it's by far my favorite belt design. This is the design that I would get if I ever got an authentic replica belt. I would, if I had the money, believe me, if I had the money, I would pay to have an authentic replica belt of this design. Only this design. I would only be interested in getting an authentic World Winged Eagle belt. It's beautiful. I love it. I know it's a kid's toy. It's not the real thing, but as a collectible, as a wrestling fan, this is what I got for now. This is the best that I can do, and I love it. I love the way it looks. So cool. My precious. Love it. Then, I don't have the Undisputed Championship belt, or the Big Eagle belt. During the Attitude Era, the belt to get was the Big Eagle belt. It's kind of like the Winged Eagle, but the eagle is bigger. I've never seen that. If I come across it, of course I might pick it up, but the Winged Eagle belt was the belt that I wanted, and I got, and super thankful for that. But then came the Big Eagle belt, which was for the Attitude Era. Then for the Ruthless Aggression Era, there was the Undisputed belt. Didn't last that long, but it's the title they gave to Brock Lesnar. Different design, kind of like a fusion between the Big Eagle and the Winged Eagle, and the Ruthless Aggression. Then that got discontinued by a different belt, and it's, oddly enough, the belt that I have the most variants of. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. The first belt, I count this as part of my collection because it's technically the first belt I've gotten. It's a cardboard belt. They gave this out at Comic-Con, but this is the spinner belt. When John Cena got the title after beating JBL, he unleashed the spinner belt. To this day, I still think WWE should charge, for this whole spinner craze. But don't give them any ideas because they might actually do it. And this is the spinner belt design. But I got this free at Comic-Con. But I count it in my belt collection because it is autographed by the Big Red Machine, Kane. Kane was at Comic-Con that year I went, and they were giving these out. And if you would follow a line, you could get it autographed by the Big Red Machine, Kane. And I did. So it has special meaning for me because it's autographed. It's the only thing I have autographed by a pro wrestler, and he's actually one of the pro wrestlers that I like, the Big Red Machine. So I count this as part of my belt collection. But the spinner belt is the design that I have the most of, for some reason. I have a lot of those. So this is a Jakks Pacific spinner belt. Unlike the big gold belt and the Winged Eagle belt and the United States Championship that looks small, this looks pretty good. It looks like a good design. The plate's nice and big. Side plates, good size. Don't have the other side plates that the real belt would have, but really cool. And of course, it has the spinner option. So yeah, this is the spinner belt. I got a duplicate of this, and I made it custom into the Rated R Superstar. If you wonder why I do that, there was a ring announcer that actually presented Edge like that. He was like, "You're Rated R Super." I don't know why he did that, but during Beth Phoenix's Hall of Fame speech, he brought the guy out because Beth Phoenix is married to Edge, so he brought the guy out and he did that thing. So I guess it kind of stuck, but. This is the spinner Edge design. This one didn't last that long. This was when Edge won the title. Then he feuded with Jeff Hardy before fighting John Cena, and then he lost it. But this is... I'm quite proud of this, actually. I think it looks very much like the Edge thing. The only difference between, the logo that's the official Rated R Superstar belt is that this thing is white. But I don't like that. I like it in red better, so... The R was gold and this was silver. So I'm quite proud of this. I'm very happy with the way that this turned out. So I have the normal one. And this is the other variant that I might do. Because the W is the thing. But when The Miz won the title, he fixed this back, upside down. So it would be the M for The Miz. But I could do that with any one of these. This one will be Edge. This one could be Miz. And then I have another WWE spinner belt. This one done by Mattel. This one spins a little better. The colors do pop out a little bit better. Jakks Pacific is not known for their quality belts, unfortunately. The quality's kind of poor. But this one's the Mattel one. They do try to work a little bit better on their design, but really, there's no size difference as opposed to the Winged Eagle or the big gold belt. There's no difference in the plate size. Just the colors. This one pops out a little bit more than this one. So the quality of this one is a little better. So I would probably turn... I already have the Rated R Superstar one like it is. The other one, the Jakks Pacific one, I could leave as The Miz. I can leave this one as John Cena's spinner belt. And technically I would have all the designs because... once WWE gave up, after The Miz, they gave up on the whole spinning thing. I think they realized it was kind of gimmicky. And they released another design for the spinner belt, but this one does not spin. It's fixed. It's a fixed belt. So it no longer spins. So this is the last variant of the spinner belt. The only one that I might get somewhere down the line, but I don't even know if that actually exists, because all the ones I've seen have this part here that says Monday Night Raw, But when John Cena won the title, he was part of SmackDown, and when he unveiled the spinner belt, it said SmackDown here, not Monday Night Raw. So I don't know if that exists, but if it does, and I ever come across it, I'd probably get it because I'm an obsessive compulsive guy, and I seem to want everything. But if it doesn't exist, then I don't need it. I got all the spinner belts, the spinners, and so on and so on. But a lot of people didn't like the spinner belt design because it was so too bling bling, too hip hoppy and stuff like that. But when John Cena did that belt, that was his gimmick. He was, like Chain Gang and Word and stuff like that. So it made sense. But yeah, it's not the best design. But oddly enough, this one is the one that lasted the most. This belt design lasted way more years than any of the other ones. So yeah, this one has more legacy, I think, because it lasted longer. Then two more variants of the spinner belt. I have the WWE Electronic Entrance Video belt. And this one is the belt that I use at the beginning of these videos. That you press a button here. And you can switch which one you want.
You hear the clock ticking.
So it has 6, and when you choose one, you just press this side. So I think that's pretty cool. This thing works off an LED light that spins, and as it spins, it creates the image. But that spinning thing is very loud, as you probably have noticed. It's freaking loud. So, unfortunately, the loudness of that does drown out the music, which kind of sucks. But it's pretty cool, in my opinion. I think it's pretty awesome that, it plays video on a belt. It's the spinner belt, but I think that was pretty cool. Now, the colors, it's already faded. It's all silver instead of, gold as the other spinner belts. But I could just, just leave it like that and that's what I use it for. I use the intros for my wrestling videos, so I thought this was pretty cool. I got it really, really cheap, but it's one more spinner belt design. And recently, I thought I was done, but no! I got one more spinner belt. Now this one is the weakest of the belts because it doesn't have any of the side plates. As far as I might be able to know, this came out first, and then the intro music with video. But this one just has lights and sound. So you pick the music. So let's do CM Punk. So you pick the music here, and to activate it, so that was CM Punk. So it's pretty cool that this works by spinning it, but of course if this thing breaks, if the spinning thing sensor breaks, this thing is useless, because you can't turn on the music any other way. You can only select it with these, and then once you spin it, it activates. So if this thing ever breaks, I'm pretty much screwed, but it's still pretty cool. And as far as I know, this is the last variant of the spinner belt. So the spinner belt not only is the championship belt that lasted the most without, any major redesign, but apparently it's also the belt that they released the most versions of. So, and the last belt to share with you guys is a belt that when The Rock came back in WrestleMania, he was like, that spinner belt thing, ridiculous, it's ugly. So I'm going to introduce my own belt design, and he introduced the first W belt design, but with the word champion here at the bottom. And I like this design. I thought this design was pretty cool. It's not as legendary as the Winged Eagle. It doesn't have the same legacy as the big gold belt. But I like it. I liked the way that this looked. I wish they would have stayed with the Eagle design, but you know, they were pushing for their brand, the W. It's not the prettiest one, but it's, in my opinion, it is a step up from the spinner belt. Nothing against the spinner belt. I like the belt, evidenced by all the versions that I own. But this one, I think, it turned out pretty good. I liked it. And of course, this played a big part when Daniel Bryan, this one and the big gold belt, played a big part when Daniel Bryan won the belts in WrestleMania 30. So, very, very cool. I like this design a lot. And this also has one more variant that also has a lights and sound thing. Also doesn't have the side plates, but you press a button in that one, and it also has entrance music, and it lights up. So there's one more design of this. Now after this, they unleashed the just W belts. They removed the champion part here, left the W's, and in very small print says World Champion. That design is the new stable, but I like this one better. I like this one better than that one, because it doesn't say champion. In very, very small print it says champion, and I don't particularly like that. I think it's a very simple design. It's a very meh design, not that cool. But then they unleash the Universal Championship, and I have heard from a lot of people that they hate that design because they were expecting something different. It's basically just the W belt but painted red, but it's that red color that I think makes it pop out. And if I ever come across one, or I can get one cheap, that would be one of the two last belts that I'd like to get. The Universal Championship belt, because I think that red color really makes it pop. I really, really like the way that red strap looks. And the other one that I would like to get, because I'm done. I'm happy with the belts that I have. But if I do come across them, another belt that I would like to add would be a Women's Championship belt. Whether it be the original Women's Championship or the Divas Championship, even though I really like the Divas Championship, or the Women's Championship, preferably the Women's Championship. Whether it be the red one for Raw or the blue one for SmackDown, because the Women's Revolution has been really cool, and that belt, even though I'm not a big fan of W, for a women's belt, it looks pretty cool. It has a white strap, and it has the red and the blue one, the background there. So that's pretty cool, and I would like to get that, mostly for my daughter, because, you know, she can sport any of the belts if she gets into wrestling, but it would be better if, she had a women's belt, because she would identify better with that, in my mind. But I have a very weird mind, so sorry about that, but that's the way I am. But those are the only two belts that I ever come across. I would pick them up. Because I have all the belts that I wanted. I have the Winged Eagle belt, I have the big gold belt, I have the U.S. Championship, I have the spinner belt, like 5 versions of the spinner belt, and the W with the champion belt. I'm happy with what I got. But of course, that's what I have. So yeah, that was the belt collection. I'm very happy with the belts that I have. They're the belts that I wanted. The only other belt besides the Universal Championship and the Women's Championship, now that I'm thinking about it, I would really, really like to own a Mexican belt. I have a lot of WWE, but I don't have any Mexican belts. And there's 2 World Championships in Mexico. There's the AAA Mega Championship, which is really cool. It has like a Aztec logo. Very, very awesome. I love that belt. And the more traditional, because it's the most longest running belt, is the CMLL, the Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre belt. That one has been around for ever since the CMLL has been active. So if I ever come across those belts, I would buy one of those, because I need a Mexican belt. As much as I love the WWE, I also love luchadors. And while I do own a good amount of luchador masks, it seems weird not to own a Mexican title belt. So if I ever come across one, I'll probably pick it up. So yeah, if I get in trouble because I bought one more belt, I will mention it, but I probably would get in trouble. But that's the thing about being a collector. You take your risks. And hope that, you don't get into too much trouble. I will only buy it if I buy it cheap. Yes, that would be my promise, if I buy it cheap. But yeah, that's the belt collection, guys. I'm always happy to talk about something that I love and share it with you. Hope you enjoy these videos too, even though the Tales from the Vargas Vault videos tend to go a bit long. I apologize for that, but I get wrapped up in talking about stuff that I love, and I hope that comes through the videos and, you know, maybe gets you interested in wrestling. You know, you might like wrestling. Don't listen to those people that say it's fake. They don't know what they're talking about. Wrestling is real. The booking and the end results might be scripted, but once you're in the ring, anything can happen. You know, maybe you get lucky, power bomb some guy, goes unconscious, the referee counts 3, and you become champion when it was not planned. Could happen. And of course, you know, people have legitimately gotten really, really hurt in wrestling matches. So, yeah, people that say that it's fake don't know what the heck they're talking about. But this, one moment. This was Vargas recording from the squared ring in the Vargas Vault. Thanking you all for watching this Masked Luchador talk about belts for I don't know how long. And I hope I can hear from you with a comment, a thumbs up, a recommendation. You can follow me also on Facebook right now, or Instagram. Right now I'm posting a lot of different stuff. But I thank you all for watching, for putting up with me for almost 10 years. And until I see you all again, this was Vargas, thanking you all and signing out.